Lagos State government trains community leaders on best methods to tackle sexual and gender-based violence. Northern Governors Forum condemns Yobe killings, demands swift justice. On the foreign scene, President Alexander Lukashenko pardons 30 people convicted in Belarus anti-government protests. And in sports, Super Eagles striker Kelechi Iheanacho arrives camp ahead of teams 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier. And now the details. I am Akan Usen. Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency, DSVA, has charged community leaders to tackle sexual and gender-based violence, SGBV, saying they are key actors in addressing and preventing SGBV and should be impartial when dealing with cases reported to them. Executive Secretary Titilola Vaivo Adeniyi gave the charge in Ikeja at a one-day training for community leaders themed Community Leaders, Flag Bearers in the Fight Against SGBV. Vaivo Adeniyi, who was represented by the head of Community Engagement Department at DSVA, Damilare Adewusi, said community leaders were flag bearers in the fight against SGBV by virtue of their positions. According to her, community leaders can influence decisions, policies, and initiatives to address and prevent SGBV, as well as shape community responses. On her part, the head of Case Management Unit of DSVA, Tumininu Oni, said gender-based violence affects every person directly or indirectly, noting that SGBV was rooted in gender inequality, patriarchy, and power imbalance. The Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, has issued a strong warning to all auto dealers in Lagos, advising them against the unauthorized display of vehicles for sale on road setbacks, walkways, and other prohibited areas which obstructs the free flow of traffic. This warning was communicated during a courtesy visit by the Lagos Motor Dealers Association to the General Manager of LASMA, Olaleko Bakari Oki, at the LASMA headquarters in Oshodi. Bakari Oki underscored the importance of maintaining order and ensuring smooth traffic flow, noting that numerous complaints have been received from community development associations, CDAs, regarding the illegal activities of some auto dealers across the state. He pointed out that the illegal placement of vehicles on roadsides, setbacks, streets, and walkways poses a significant risk to public safety, obstructs pedestrian movement, and increases traffic congestion. In his response, the Lagos Motor Dealers Association, led by its president Leke Aladigbemi, expressed willingness to cooperate with LASMA and other authorities to promote compliance among its members. The Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, has commended the Dangote refinery on the historic and landmark commencement of production of premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol. NUPENG said it is aware of the potential and expressed happiness about the opportunities this development will bring in terms of employment for Nigerians, socio-economic prosperity, and monumental growth of the country. In a congratulatory letter to the President/Chief Executive Officer, CEO of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, by NUPENG's General Secretary, Afolabi Olawale, the union lauded President Bola Tinubu and Aliko Dangote on the historic landmark. And now to the rest of the stories. Chairman of the Northern States Governors Forum and Governor of Gombe State, Muhammadu Yahaya, has condemned the recent attack in Mafa, Talmuwa local government area of Yobe State. Gunmen suspected to be Boko Haram insurgents looted and set ablaze shops and houses in the local government. Yahaya, in a statement signed by the Director General Press Affairs, Gombe Government House, Ismaila Misili, described the attack as a senseless act of violence that has caused immense grief to the affected families and communities. He commended the security forces for their efforts against the remnants of criminal groups, but emphasized the need for intensified efforts to track down and apprehend those responsible for the attack. At least 8 persons have been confirmed dead after 2 separate attacks carried out by gunmen in Congo and Zarab communities in Boko's local government area of Plateau State, according to reports. Among the victims was a member of the Community Peace Service in Boko's local government area identified as Kenneth Kadish. One of the attacks, which occurred around 7 p.m. on Wednesday near the Congo Community Market, took place shortly after the attack. After the market has closed for the day. 6 persons died instantly in Congo Community. In the neighboring Zarab community, 2 persons were killed. Now to foreign news. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko has pardoned 30 people convicted for anti-government protests 4 years after huge demonstrations that prompted a massive crackdown on dissent and spurred a new wave of emigration. Lukashenko's office said in a statement that the move was a humane gesture that affected 7 women and 23 men. The veteran leader, who turned 70 last week, released 18 people from prison in early July and announced a pardon for 30 individuals on August 16. Those freed so far include sick and elderly people, some of whom were approaching the end of their sentences. Anyway, from all that, now sports. Kelechi Iheanacho is the latest player to arrive the Super Eagles camp ahead of their 2025 AFCON qualifiers. Iheanacho's arrival was announced by Super Eagles media officer Promise Efoge, who noted that the number of players currently in camp is 21 with the latest arrival. On the injury front, Crawley Town new signing Benjamin Tanimu replaced Fenerbahce's right back Bratusai Samuel, who is injured. Meanwhile, the Super Eagles had the first training session on Tuesday morning with 20 players. The Eagles will take on Benin Republic on Saturday, September 7, and face Rwanda on Tuesday, September 10, on March Day 2. Ugandan long-distance runner Rebecca Cheptegei is still fighting for her life after being set on fire by a Kenyan man just weeks after taking part in the Paris Olympics. The 33-year-old athlete is being treated in a hospital in the Kenyan Rift Valley city of Eldoret after Sunday's attack. The hospital's acting chief executive officer, Owen Menak, says she sustained burns to 80% of her body, noting that everything is being done to save her life. And that's all for the news at 4. Just before we go, maintain adequate distance from the vehicle ahead of you to avoid collision. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms on X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. On YouTube, subscribe and watch us live on our channel Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website on www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that under the Sanwo-Olu administration, Loma launched the Lagos State Blue Box Recycling Initiative? You can get more details on the Lagos State government's website. To end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency, DSVA, has charged community leaders to tackle sexual and gender-based violence, SGBV, saying they are key factors in addressing and preventing SGBV and should be impartial when dealing with cases reported to them. Chairman of the Northern State Governors Forum and Governor of Gombe State, Muhammadu Yahaya, has condemned the recent attack in Mafa, Tanmuwa local government area of Yobe State. We also told you that Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko has pardoned 30 people convicted for anti-government protests 4 years after huge demonstrations prompted a massive crackdown on dissent and spurred a new wave of emigration. And in sport, Kelechi Iheanacho is the latest player to arrive the Super Eagles camp ahead of their 2025 AFCON qualifiers. For a contact with the newsroom, please send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. And that ends the news broadcast compiled by Adirayo Idu Olaya. I am Akan Usen. Thanks for listening and please stay safe. Good afternoon.